Good afternoon, everyone. Jason here. Today is August 4th, and I wanted to go through a couple of trades here that we had today in the day trading chat room. So what I want you to look at up here today is the total P&L, right? We're at plus 220. We were down 530 on the NQ. We were up 750 on the ES. And so one of the things that I wanted to talk about here today is reward to risk, right? It was a very choppy day so far in here. And of course, when I'm making this, it's just a little bit after noon Central Time. And you can see here that the market was very choppy, right? We had this kind of sideways movement in the market here today, and the NQ was a little bit like that as well, right? There's a lot of wicks and chop and things of that nature. And so if you joined us in here today, you know that it was a battle going through it here. But one of the things that we talk about quite frequently here is reward to risk ratio, right? And so one of the things that happens to a lot of traders is small winning trade, small winning trade, small winning trade, big losing trade wipes out all of your winning trades. So your win percentage is high, but your bottom line is not where you want it to be because, again, the losing trades are wiping out your winning trades. Well, it's just the opposite here for us in the way that we approach trading. In fact, when you see the trades that I'm going to get into here today, you're going to notice that I'm down quite a bit, right? But I have a $1,000 ES trade and an $850 NQ trade that pulls me out of the hole on the day and puts me positive. And again, that is the way that we try and do our trading, right? We are looking for high reward to risk ratio type trades. And on a day like today, when the market is just not following through in the way that you would like to see it, it becomes very frustrating kind of experience. But if you can stick to it, and I'll show you the trades here in just a couple of minutes, but if you can stick to that, and that really does become kind of the hallmark of your trading, right? Is that you're able to stick it out and to get those high reward to risk ratio type trades. Now, the reason that we can do that is because of our market maker levels, right? The levels that you see on your chart here. And so today, where we ended up getting in short here was right at the top of the developing value area, which also happens to be right at the top of that zone of influence. So if you watch yesterday's video, we talk a lot about zone of influence here with our market maker levels, but essentially it is the top or the bottom boundary of the support resistance idea. And so the market had rallied up into the ETH mid. We broke the volume weighted average price. We pulled back, pulled down, and pulled back into the volume weighted average price and could not get any higher. And so the result of that allowed me to want to get in short here, right at the top of the value, the top of the ETH signal zone of influence, and we were below that volume weighted average price. And this is where I ended up getting short at this 0.2 half. Now, we ended up riding it all the way down to the RTH target right down here at 92 half. So that ended up being a 10-point times 2 lot move on the ES, which ended up being $1,000. So that ended up being a 3.5 to 1, just about 3.5 to 1 reward to risk ratio type trade. So that's the trade that I'm going to show you in its entirety. What you're also going to see is an NQ trade where we get in right up here, right at this sweet spot, right? I had just been stopped out on a pullback into this area, and you're going to notice that I am down. I'm down quite a few ticks there on the NQ today. In fact, I was down quite a bit on the NQ. In fact, the trade that I ended up taking did not pull me all the way out of the hole here today, but it was a sizable trade, $850 times 2 lots. Now, again, the market comes all the way down, spikes down into this RTH target, and then I get pulled out on this rally back up. I was really anticipating it to go deeper into the RTH target, but you can see just how effective your market maker levels were on this particular move, right, on this particular day as it comes right down into that RTH target. And that's the same thing that occurred down here on the ES. So again, your market maker levels giving you some very good opportunities for targeting, right? And so, yes, I was down, and I want you to pay attention to that when you see the video. I was down a pretty healthy chunk. In fact, I was almost to the point where I was going to stop on the day, but we did have a couple of setups that we like to do. One off the VWAP and the value area high at the top of the developing correction, the top of the zone of influence on that RTH signal here on the ES. And then obviously we had our sweet spot trade here, the top of the value area for high from yesterday, and the market did come all the way down. Now I could have, probably should have, in retrospect. Of course, it's easy to look back and trade on the hard left edge, but this would have been the place to grab that target as the market then bounced and continued this rally up through the levels all the way up into the RTH target on the other side. But with all that being said, you'll notice that we did finish the day positive. And so I do make these videos to show you exactly the reward to risk ratio that we try to do in here. We look for at least 2-to-1 reward to risk ratio on targets. And I think that's an important component to be able to show you exactly how you can use these levels to achieve those types of ideas, right? So again, it's hard to hang on for those targets sometimes given the choppy nature of the market, but the market typically will give you an opportunity to get to those reward to risk ratios using these levels that we call market maker levels on a day in and day out basis. I appreciate you spending some time here on the YouTube channel watching us go through these trades. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you where we get in on that NQ. I'm also going to show you where we get in on the ES. And for the sake of brevity, I'm going to go ahead and just let you see the completion of the ES trade. But just know I get taken out on a pullback on the NQ at about $850 on that NQ trade that you're going to see here today. So with all that being said, again, the way that we do this, you're going to see the entries. You're going to see me cut the trade up into pieces, speed it up, put some music behind it so that you can see then kind of the trade as it went through. And then you'll be able to see us hit that target on the ES for 10 points and $1,000. And just so you know, that NQ trade gets pulled back and takes me out at an $850 win. So with all that being said, without further ado, here is the OTG trade of the day. And 82.5 on the ES, right back at the RTH mid. I'm in on both. Bring this stop here. We'll put the stop here. 59 to 60. Hang on a second here. All right, target down at the RTH target on both of these. Stop 3 points on the ES. Stop up at 65 quarter on the NQ.